believes I can't sleep.
It's time to listen to Courtney at last on the Ramblings of an Insomniac podcast.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Ramblings of an Insomniac. I am Courtney. Hello. Every time I stand by this fountain, I always think I'm going to make everybody have to pee. It'll either be like really relaxing and soothing, or you'll just have to pee the whole time. And I definitely don't want that. Plus, I'm talking over the top of it, so that kind of eliminates the relaxing, soothing part, I guess. But I like sitting back here because I like listening to the fountain. Anyway, hello. Hi. How is it going in your neck of the woods? Speaking of, again, shout out to everybody that is tuning in that's never done so before. Thank you. Welcome. You may never want to listen to me again, or maybe you'll tune in for a second time and a 10th time, and who knows? So whether it's your first time or your last, thank you. Thanks for checking me out and at least giving me the chance. So, hi. What has been keeping me up as of late? Well, politics. I think that's probably on everybody's mind, or at least not everybody, but a lot of people are probably questioning what's the future? What does the future hold for America? Who is going to be running the show? And well, that is a good question, because it sounds like after Biden did the Soros interview that he doesn't want to go anywhere. At least he's not going to go anywhere unless he's forced to, like the 25th Amendment. But he's not going anywhere unless God Almighty takes him out. And God Almighty tells him not to. And I think that Mother Nature is trying to say, Joe, stop. I mean, every time he trips, every time he stumbles, I think that is God or Mother Nature or his body saying, hey, we can't do this anymore, dude. We need a break. But he is not going to go down at all because he's prideful and because he has dementia. And I don't know why we're allowing him to make that decision, because it's like trying to make an alcoholic make a decision, or asking an alcoholic to make decisions and to be, to be making correct, informed decisions. And obviously your judgment is impaired when you are drunk and belligerent. So when you have dementia, well, obviously you can't really make, you're not going to be making good judgment calls. You're not going to go, yeah, I think that my health is really bad. I think I should definitely step down. I mean, his judgment is impaired. So we can't ask him that. We can't leave it up to him. And how dare we do that? I've been saying for 2 years now, it's elder abuse. His wife and his administration parading him around right now, like Weekend at Bernie's, is not okay. It is elder abuse. And the poor man, again, I've said this, I know, a million times. I detest him. I think he's god awful. Before he even had dementia, he was awful. But right now, it is not his fault, and it's not funny, and it's elder abuse. The man needs to be resting. And we certainly, for the love of God, we certainly do not need him in charge of the little red button. We don't even need him in charge of opening up a door or in charge of a cat. I don't know if he could handle a plant right now. I don't know that he could handle a plant or a dog or a cat. So we're going to leave this man in charge of the entire country? We're going to have him talking to foreign leaders. What is wrong with people? I still have people trying to debate me on this and make excuses. Or they're those people that act like this is the very, very first time that Joe has ever shown signs of dementia. Like people haven't been saying it for 2 years now. And all of a sudden, people are like, whoa, wait, what? Get out of here. You're crazy. Joe has dementia? What? I mean, come on. Either you have your head rammed so far, that far up your ass, that you genuinely can't see straight because your head is crammed way up there that you genuinely didn't see that coming. Or you're so dumb that you didn't see that coming. Or you live under a rock. Or you don't watch TV or watch social media or listen to the radio or read. Or you're just a liar, liar, pants on fire, and you're shady, and you want it to all of a sudden be you guys that thought of this. Just like you'll probably now all of a sudden everybody is like, having all these illegal immigrants in our country is posing a problem. Who knew? Well, I think for a very long time now, we knew. We meaning the Republican Party has been saying for years, hey, if you allow everybody to just come on in, just like, hookers. I was going to go somewhere better with that, but it didn't quite land. But anyway, you can't just allow everybody in and think that things are going to turn out great. And so people had problems with that. And we were called racist and bigot and all of these names that didn't even make any logical sense. And they were using incorrectly because, again, God forbid you read a book or know what the hell you're talking about before you open your mouth. People really need to start knowing what they're talking about before they open their mouth, myself included. Everybody needs to educate themselves before they try to have an educated debate. Doesn't that just make sense? But at any rate, now all of a sudden, people on The View and Democrats are like, oh my God, Lord have mercy. There are a lot of problems now with allowing shit tons of illegal immigrants into our country. I mean, we did not know that was going to be a problem. We saw zero consequences of that. I mean, get out of here. And again, that's something that the Republicans have been saying for years. And all that we were met with was being called names and told how shitty and horrible we were. And now if they come up with it, just like Joy Behar is allowed to do blackface, because according to her, she's doing it out of respect. But everybody else, so Democrats do it out of respect, but anybody else does it to be racist, horrible people. So if you're a Democrat, you do it out of respect. But if you're anybody else, it's horrible, terrible, and you're a racist piece of shit that deserves to die. Just like if we say you shouldn't allow illegal immigrants in because it's going to cause XYZ, we're horrible pieces of shit and racist and deserve to die. But now all of a sudden, people are waking up and they're realizing the problems because they're actually having to suffer the consequences. It's all fun and games until shit bites you in the ass. It's all fun and games until you have to lay in the bed that you made. And now they're just having a big old pajama party. The ladies at The View, they're just all sitting there laying in their bed that they made. It's a whole Martha's Vineyard thing. Once they had to deal with it, they were like, oh my God, this doesn't work at all. I love how these people say, come on in. But yet, are they sharing their houses? Are they sharing their homes? Are they keeping their doors locked? Do they have a fence around their place? Do they keep their windows and doors locked? Do they have security? Do they have an alarm system? But again, it's just wrong for everybody else. Do as I say, not as I do. I hate that. I don't work for people like that. I've never been one to respect or respond or work for people that don't back up what they say. If you're my boss and you're in charge of me, you're a manager, you better know how to do my job. If you don't know how to do my job, that you're supposedly in charge of me to make sure that I do my job, but you don't actually know how to do it yourself, then you're not going to get respect from me, because that's just ridiculous. Same thing with just life in general. Don't sit there and say one thing, do as I say, not as I do. It's different. I understand if, like, maybe you made mistakes and you're a parent that's like, hey, don't drink and drive because it really is stupid. And kids are like, well, you did it, so it's okay. It's like, I did do it and it wasn't okay. It was stupid of me. I should have listened. I don't really feel like that's I mean, I guess it is. It is technically a do as I say, not as I do. But it's because you were doing something stupid and now you realize it's stupid and you don't want your children to die. That I can get on board with. But I don't know. I have to tell you, this whole flip flopping. And by the way, so Ben Shapiro has an awesome 3-part series. I listened to the first. It's called Scamala. It's called Scamala. It's a 3-part series, 3 episodes. Really fascinating. And it it does expose all of the lies that Kamala has told. It exposes her dirty, rotten, no good, corrupt self, her lazy piece of crap self. And that's also what scares me, by the way, is that she could potentially be our president right now until January. She could potentially be our president. We all know her or Obama already are, or Clinton, maybe all 3 of them. Maybe Kamala's in there, giving them both BJs. I don't know. But it's either they're going to do the 25th and then Kamala will be Prez, or, she'll end up being Prez because Biden is going to end up stepping down later. I mean, not stepping down. He's going to end up maybe if he did get elected, if he got elected, then he would get elected, be president until he dies, which would probably be pretty darn soon, or was genuinely so incapable that it got to the point that no one could actually, keep up the lie, in which case then Kamala would be president. Or like I said, or Trump will become president. But it's scary to me. Sorry, I got sidetracked by a really gigantic spider, and I was trying not to freak out on here because I thought it was like a rock or something, and it was not. Yeah, that reminds me, I'll got to tell you a story later. But anyway, if Biden refuses to step down and for some weird ass reason wins over Trump, we all know he's going to die and or end up being a dementia patient and somebody else will take over. And so my concern is, if you listen to this, I just listened to the first part because I don't know when the second part comes out is, to be honest, but I listened to the first and it's really good, and it just exposes her for the shit show that we all know she is. But could you fathom her being at the helm? Could you fathom her being at the helm, and whether he steps down right now, right this second, because it's until Friday, I can't remember what day, what's it like? God, I should know this. My brain just went out. I am totally having Biden moments. So I will not run for president. I know, sad. But could you imagine Kamala with that cackle being the president right now? Holy forkin' shirt balls. That would just be that's just that is a scary thought to contemplate. That is crazy. Ugh. Anyway, that's been keeping me up, because if Joe actually does step down, I don't think he will, but if he does, then Kamala is at the helm. Or if they do the 25th, and then I wonder who they'll sneak in there. Who knows? But what if like Biden somehow wins over Trump? Again, I don't know in what world that would be, but what if he did and he keeled over? I mean, Kamala Harris. Oh my God. Can you possibly imagine that shit show, that freak show running everything? Ew. That would be, we'd have to hear her cackle, the cackle across the world. That cackle alone should be some type of Chinese military torture device where you listen to it and they make you cough up information. Like they make you listen to that until you cough up information, which would probably be right away. Anyway, that's keeping me up because that's some scary shit. But it also freaks me out for Trump to be president only because I'm worried that people will try to assassinate him because there's a lot of crazies out there lately, and I fear for him. I fear for his family. But, you know, I also worry that people think that Trump is going to be some savior that fixes everything right away. And you can't fix everything in 4 years necessarily. Things aren't going to just all of a sudden magically snap your fingers and just change back to the good old days, you know. It's going to take work. And then we need to, as a nation going forward, really, really make sure that we are voting for our city council and going to city council meetings and participating in things at the local level, you know, at city council, mayor, governor, all of that, state representative, just everything. Just make sure that we know who we're voting for and we don't just get used to checking a box. And that we, you know, we don't need term limits as long as we are, because what if someone's doing a really good job? Term limits are bad because if someone's doing a really great job, then keep them in. It's up to us to vote out the people. If they're doing a bad job, okay, we need to vote them out then. Then let's vote them out. We don't need term limits. We just need to vote. We need to pay attention. We need to educate ourselves on who the hell is running for each office. I don't always know. My God, I'm the first to admit that I don't keep track of all of that. It's terrible. But I vowed this year that I would. I vowed this year that I would try to do my homework, that I would do my homework. And I would educate myself so that I could back up what I say. I could practice what I preach so that I'm walking the walk like I want others to do. If I expect that out of others, then I'm going to expect that out of myself. It's the least I could do, especially if I'm going to do podcasts about crap like that. I can't be talking out my ass, you know, at least if I'm talking about politics. If I'm just talking about my opinion, well, you'll have to tolerate me talking out my ass, I suppose. Anyway, those are some things that are keeping me up. Kamala's cackle. I can't do it. I would love to like insert cackle here. But, and Biden, the fact that we're just going, well, he doesn't want to step down. Well, who fucking cares? He has dementia. He doesn't get a vote. I mean, come on. I don't know. It's a crazy world. We're in crazy times right now. So much. But check out Scamala. It's on the Daily Wire, so you need a subscription, but I'm sure somebody's got one. Plus, it's worth it to get it. So it exposes all of her crap. I mean, we already all know it. She's even has a lower approval rating than Biden, which is, wow, way to be a champ there. Way to succeed at something. Way to succeed at being a failure, Kamala. Woohoo! Here's your star. Here's your participation award. Oh my God, I look like a mass murderer. It's just a graveyard of grasshoppers and dead bugs in this kiddie pool. Ugh. I've cleaned it out like 100 times. But speaking of kiddie pool, it is hotter than shit here in my neck of the woods. Like, I think I've mentioned this, but it's been in triple digits for like 5 days now. And then it's supposed to, I mentioned this on my last podcast, it's supposed to go down to quote, the low 90s and high 80s for the next 10 days. Lordy. I know, again, I know. There's people that live in places that are a frick of a lot hotter than that. My heart goes out to you. I'm not made for that. I'm not used to it. I have fair skin. I have Swedish skin. We don't do this big orange thing in the sky. I mean, I love it, but my skin is too fair for it. God, I really admire people with darker skin. You just always have a tan and look sexy. You just always look sexy. That's not fair. Not fair. Especially if you have like dark skin and blue eyes or dark skin and green eyes. Holy crap, that's hot. Man, not saying that anybody else isn't. Gotta go make sure my dogs aren't killing themselves in Memento. Oh, they're playing. Okay. Every time I'm talking on my podcast, I'm always grabbing my dogs. But again, not saying that people with any other color of skin or hair or eyes are not sexy or beautiful. So don't get offended. Don't cry. I don't do criers. There's no crying on Courtney's podcast. I'm just saying. I'm jealous of darker skin. My biological dad had dark skin and really icy blue eyes. That's so handsome. Anyway, and like Vivica Fox. God, love that. Love that combo. Anyway, squirrel, sidetrack. So what else? What else is keeping me up? Well, a lot going on in my world as far as super proud of my family in a lot of different ways. A lot of stepping up happening, a lot of follow through happening, a lot of good decisions happening, a lot of thought going into decisions before they make them going on. Growing up, it's nice when you have kids and you finally see that they're like growing up and they're learning and they're learning from their mistakes and they're growing from their mistakes. It's like, I love it when being in this phase is good. This is a good phase. I don't want to say phase because then that implies that it's just that, a phase, and they'll grow out of it. And so I don't mean to say that, but I mean, I love this time of their life when they are growing up. I mean, I do and I don't, because of course I miss when they were young. I miss a lot of things about when they're young, but this is just different. It's not worse. It's not bad. It's just different. And it's very nice to see they're growing up, If you don't have kids, I understand that's probably like hard for you to get, but it's weird to be a parent. You just really deal with so many strange phases. And you always think that you can't wait to get to that next phase. You're like, so sick of having to get up every single, all night long and feeding the baby and changing the baby and the crying. I can't wait until they don't need diapers. I can't wait until they, aren't crying all the time. And then they start walking and they're getting into everything. And you're like, I can't wait until they're not getting into everything and they're not crawling so fast and they're not walking so fast and they're in kindergarten and we could do stuff. And then just every phase you're like, I can't wait until. And then your kids are adults and you're like, shit, I miss the days that they were young. I miss those times. And they do go fast and people will tell you that. They're like, oh, don't say that because you'll miss it and it goes by fast and you're like, blah, blah, blah. But it's true. It's so true. You do. It does go by fast. You blink and your kids are having kids. And you do miss those times. And I don't know why we do that to people. People that are older than us, that are actually experienced and have actually been through things, have actually gone through things and experienced it. They'll tell us how, their opinion, or they'll give us advice, or they'll, say stuff like that, like, you will end up missing those days. And we always do the whole blah, 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 and we roll our eyes like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And I don't know why we do that to people that actually know what they're talking about. Why do we think we know more? Or why do we think blah, blah, blah. Wouldn't we want to go, like when a veteran sits down or an elderly person sits down and tells us stories about how things used to be and tells us maybe, hey, enjoy time now, because it goes by fast. We should listen to them and we should gain advice and knowledge from them and carry pieces of what they say forward with us. But we do that all the time, myself included, again. We don't listen to those that have the expertise. We have to figure it out ourselves. Which can be good and bad. There's pros and cons of that. And again, it's age, because when you're young, you think you have it figured out for some weird reason. And we don't. And people will constantly tell us, you think you have it figured out, but you don't. And we're always like, blah, blah, blah. And then, here you are, 50 years old with kids and grandkids. And you're like, God, I was an ass. I know I thought I had my shit figured out. I mean, I was very responsible. I really was responsible. I didn't really get into a lot of trouble and stuff. So, the trouble I got into, yes, Allison, I know you're listening. So you and I have gotten into that together. So I know you're like, excuse me. Whoa. You and I have gotten in trouble. But I just mean, like, it wasn't a habit where I was out causing chaos and almost dying and doing things that could kill me. I mean, yes, I would drink, but we wouldn't drink and drive. Not saying that makes it better, but we didn't drink to where, we're freaking passed out. So, harmless stuff, unless you count stealing my mom's car with my friend who shall remain nameless, and Allison's mom catching us. And we did that when we were 15 without a license, driving my mom's car around a really small town where everybody knows everybody, a town of like 1,200 people at the time. And I knew that my friend's mom was on her way. So I don't know what the hell we were thinking. Again, you don't think when you're a teenager. Your brain's not fully developed. So you can't really think. And that's the other thing. We always want teenagers to think. And we're like, what were you thinking? It's like, well, they're teenagers and they're just morons. Because when you're a teenager, you're a moron because you're not fully developed. So it's not really their fault either. It's a mixture of being a moron and hormones and parenting and environment and about a million different things. So what were they thinking? Well, that they're a human and that we are sometimes an idiot. We're sometimes idiots. But that said, it's infuriating to me when you will have facts, actual facts, as an adult, and you will present facts to another adult, and they will still be like, nope, that's not true. And you're like, well, no, really, like, that's true because look, and it's just, that's the stuff that amazes me. That's the stuff that really bothers me. When you have a full grown adult, so their brains developed. So I'm not talking about people with any type of mental illness or disability or anything, but a fully developed brain, and you can have proof and stats right there, and they're like, no. Or the ones that like twist things around and say something entirely different than what you said and then try to make an argument off of that. And it's like, well, I didn't even say any of that, but good try. Humans are weird, do a lot of weird crap to each other, especially when we're young. Well, no, that's not true. I mean, we do weird crap to each other when we're older too. It's just actually permanent then, and we go to jail for shit now. Unless, of course, you're a crackhead or a pedophile, in which case, do whatever you want. Or a transgender person that is in the women's bathroom, or a drag queen that's dancing for minors and taking money. If you do all that, well, you're not going to go to jail. No. But, and if you're, at least in the state of Oregon, caught with like, I don't remember the amount, but the fact that there is an amount at all is my point, with methamphetamines, well, it's okay. It's all right. No worries. Because our government wants us sick. Our government wants us to die. They want population control. And then the ones that do live, they want stupid so that they can inject their bullshit crap onto a bunch of idiots. It's like the movie Idiocracy. We're all going to be fat idiots. I don't know. These things have been on my mind and preventing me from getting any rest at all. What's been keeping you up in your country? What's going on in your neck of the woods? What are the politics how are the politics in your country? How do they compare to ours, to the US? Again, Canada, sounds like you guys have a real poo show going on. Oh my God, speaking of Canada, oh my goodness. So, in the greater Toronto area, apparently they have a skinny dipping club. Apparently there's a skinny dipping club. I looked it up, read all about it, and it's a true thing. And this skinny dipping club has been around for a while, but their thing is they accept minors. Not only do they accept minors, no. They promote and entice and lure minors to their adult skinny dipping club. And so, skinny dipping, naked, no clothes. And they say that if you're from 14 to 18, you do not need to be accompanied by a minor or by an adult. No adult needed. And if you are under the age of 14, it's free. And if you are caught oogling and ogling at people with goggles on underneath the water, then they'll just take away your goggles. You won't be kicked out or anything like that, and you won't be reprimanded, and you won't be, written up or sent to jail or your membership pulled or anything like that. No, they just take away your goggles. But then they also have activities that are family friendly, and they talk about how they really love that they're family friendly for people of all ages. And they do things like naked bowling, naked painting, and all these just naked activities that are now not in water. They are just walking around naked with families and minor children. That again, they are making free if you are 0 to 13 years old, you're free. And if you're 14 to 18, so 14 to 18, you don't need an adult. It's weird. So Canada's got a whole thing going on. And again, I'm not speaking about the people in Canada. I'm talking about the government, just like our government sucks just as much right now. So anyway, I know that's going on in Canada, and that's pretty fucked up. Like, what the hell is going on with that? That is very weird. And nobody's batting an eye. Well, I'm sure people are, but why is that? How is that legal? I don't understand how that's legal. Like, where is the loophole that makes that legal? And what if a bunch of pedophiles come there, which they will? Not what if, they're going to. And then you're telling kids that are 14, 15, 16, and 17, because if you're 18, you already don't have to be accompanied by an adult because you're considered an adult, but 14, 15, 16, 17 years old, and you don't need an adult with you. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, and you get a free member, and then you get, free membership if you're, 10, 11, 12, and 13. It's 0 to 13. But you get a free membership then. That is so weird. And to do things like bowling naked, I'm not understanding how this is legal. I can't wrap my head around this. And then we have Trump that's getting accused of all this shit that they haven't been able to find any evidence of. So then they stick him with some bullshit crap, and everyone's going to throw hands and be singing the praises. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Trump got a felony charge. Ha, ha, ha. And they think it's hilarious, but they're not focusing on sex trafficking. They're not focusing on the drug cartel. They're not focusing on fentanyl. They're not focusing on the terrorists that are coming across our border. Nah. They're not focusing on the fact that our president has dementia and that Kamala might be our president. No, all of that, no. We're just going to bitch about stupid first world shit that people in third world countries are probably like, fuck you guys. Seriously, can we get some clean water over here? Can we have some clean water? Can we, get some shit for like malaria and crap? Can we not have our kids being raped and murdered by the militia and getting signed up for the militia army and going around killing people with machetes? And we're over here bitching about a man's right to go into a woman's bathroom. And we're having skinny dipping clubs for all ages, for families. Even our homeless have it better than a lot of people in third world countries. I've been to many third world countries, so I know. I'm not getting this from things that I read. I'm getting this from my own eyeballs. We just find the most ridiculous things to complain about instead of focusing on the good. Again, I've been guilty of doing that as well. I'm not saying that I'm perfect. I've done it also. And when I do it, I'm disgusted with myself because I'm like, really, that's what I'm going to complain about right now? Again, I've said this before. It doesn't mean that you can never be grumpy or complain about something. But I would hope that if it is something genuinely pretty frivolous, that we can complain about it for a minute, vent about it, get it off our chest, and then take a breath and say, you know what, though? I am grateful for this and this and this and this. And then list off the things that you're grateful for. And then try to fix the problem. Because if it's a problem that you can't fix or something that you can't control, you probably just need to let it go, which is why I have that tattooed on me. Let go, not let it go like Frozen. No, I got it way before that, way before it. Let go. And I had it on my wrist for a reason so that I have to look at it all the time to remind myself, can I control this? No? Okay. Just let go then. Just let go of all the crap. Let go of all the baggage and the stress that I can't control. No reason to focus on it. So if you're complaining about something that seems very first world country-ish, maybe just vent about it, get it off your chest, and then take a breath and just let go of the drama and focus on, 3 things that are good. I've been making myself do that. Not making myself because I have a lot to be grateful for. So it's not hard to do. Anyway, hey, again, if you're listening for the first time or you're listening for, the 100th time, thank you so much. I appreciate everybody greatly. I appreciate everyone so much. I want you to know each time you tune in, I'm hoping that I'm doing something that, you're interested in, something that you like. Again, you can email me at ramblingsofanInsomniac49@gmail.com if you have any comments or anything or suggestions. Other than that, hey, thanks for listening. Take care. Until next time.